That night, the woman I had loved for so many years, my wife Williams, looked at me with eyes that felt like cold ice. She looked right through me and said, "Noah, do not touch me tonight. I do not want you anywhere near me." Those words hurt my heart deeply, but I did not want to start a big fight in our home. I simply reached down, picked up my soft pillow, and walked slowly to the living room to sleep on the couch. It was a very long and very lonely night. I stayed awake for hours, staring at the ceiling and wondering what had happened to the woman I loved so much. I felt so alone in my own house. Little did Williams know, her younger sister, Claire, was staying with us for the weekend. When the sun finally came up the next day, Claire walked into the living room and saw me lying there on the old cushions. She looked very confused and a bit worried about me. "Noah," she asked in a soft, kind voice, "why are you out here sleeping on the couch?" I felt a heavy lump in my throat, like I was about to cry. I looked at her and said, "You should probably ask your sister about that." Claire did not wait even a second. She went straight up the wooden stairs to find her sister. Only 30 seconds later, I heard her voice echoing loudly from the hallway upstairs. "Williams, what in the whole world is going on here?" That was the exact moment everything in my life started to fall apart. The big, dark secret my wife had been keeping for many months was finally coming out into the bright light of day. When things started to feel different. My name is Noah. Williams and I have been a team, working together through life for 7 long years. For almost all of that time, we were truly happy and content. We did not have a lot of extra money in the bank or a big, fancy house to show off, but we had a place that really felt like home to us. We both had jobs that paid our bills, and we had a nice, simple routine that we both liked. We were best friends just as much as we were partners in marriage. But then, slowly and quietly, something shifted between us. Williams was not the same person anymore. She felt like she was a million miles away. Even when she was sitting right next to me on the sofa, watching a movie, her phone became her new best friend. She never let out of her sight for even a single minute. She started taking phone calls outside in the backyard or in the bathroom with the door locked tight. Whenever I asked her if something was bothering her or making her sad, she always gave the same short, cold answer, "I am just tired from work, Noah." I wanted to believe her with all my heart, because I trusted her completely. I gave her the space she asked for, thinking she just needed a little break from the stress of life. But one evening, everything changed forever. We had just finished eating our dinner, and I reached out to hold her hand like I always did. She pulled her hand away very quickly, as if my touch was something bad or unpleasant. She looked at me and said, "Do not touch me tonight." Her voice was not joking at all. It was cold, sharp, and mean. I asked her if I had done something to upset her, but she just shook her head and said she simply did not want me near her. I did not argue or yell. I grabbed my pillow and went to the couch. But before I could close my weary eyes, I noticed something very strange. William stayed downstairs for 20 more minutes, texting someone on her phone. Then she smiled at her screen. That was a very special, warm smile, but I knew in my heart that it was not meant for me. Her sister asked the hard questions. The next morning, I woke up to see Claire standing over me. Claire is William's younger sister, and she has always been a very kind, gentle, and caring person to me. She looked at the flat pillow under my head and the thin blanket messy on the floor, and she frowned. "Why are you sleeping out here on the couch, Noah?" she asked. I sat up slowly and rubbed my tired eyes. "Your sister did not want me in the bedroom last night." I told her honestly. Claire looked like she could not believe what she was hearing. "She really said those mean things to you?" I just nodded my head yes. Claire did not say another word to me right then. She turned around and walked quickly up the stairs. A few moments later, I could hear their voices coming from the bedroom. At first, they were talking quietly, but then I heard Claire say very loudly, "You need to tell him the whole truth, Williams." William snapped back in a mean way, "This is not your business, Claire. Stay out of it." But Claire did not back down or get scared. She said, "It became my business the moment you started lying to everyone who truly cares about you." I stood very still in the middle of the living room. My heart was pounding against my ribs like a loud drum. I felt like I could not breathe. Then Claire came back down the stairs. She looked at me with very sad eyes and said, "Noah, I am so very sorry." I asked her what she meant by that. She waited a long moment, then told me she'd been worried that Williams was hiding something for a long time, but she did not know for sure until that very morning when she saw her sister's face. The message that changed everything. Claire showed me something on her phone screen. It was a photograph that Williams had sent to her by mistake. The picture showed Williams sitting at a very nice, expensive restaurant. She was not by herself at that table. She was sitting across from a man I had never seen before in my entire life. Claire told me that Williams had told her he was just someone from her work, but the messages that went along with the photo told a much sadder and darker story. They were making plans to meet up in secret places. There were many late-night talks that went on for hours and hours while I was asleep. And then there was one specific message that made everything very clear to me. It said, "I cannot keep lying to Noah forever." I did not start screaming or breaking things. I did not run upstairs to yell at Williams. I just sat there on the couch in the quiet. After 7 years of being married and building a life together, I finally understood the real truth. I had been trying so hard to save a relationship that Williams had already left in her heart a long time ago. She was already gone, even though she was still living in our house and eating at our table every single day. A quiet way to move on. After a while, Williams finally came down the stairs. She looked at me with anger and asked, "Why are you talking to my sister behind my back?" I did not get angry or raise my voice. I just put my phone down on a wooden table and said, "I am talking to her because she was brave enough to tell me the truth when you were not." William stopped moving and stayed very still. She tried to make many excuses. She said that nothing physical had happened with the other man yet. She said she was just feeling very confused and that she had not been happy in our house for a long time. I just sat there and listened to her words. Then I told her quietly, "You could have told me you were unhappy, Williams. We could have talked about it like adults. Instead, you kept big secrets and made me feel like I was the one doing something wrong every day." She started to cry, but I did not feel the need to yell or call her mean names. I simply told her that I had already made up my mind about our future. I called a lawyer that same week and started the legal paperwork to end our marriage. I moved out and into a small, quiet apartment all by myself. For the first time in many long months, I could finally sleep all the way through the night without wondering who my wife was talking to in the dark while I was right there, the ending she never expected. A few weeks went by, and Williams asked if we could meet up to talk. She told me she was very, very sorry for what she had done to me. She said she had made some very bad choices, and she regretted them deeply now. Then she looked at me and asked, "Is there any way we can try again? Can we start over from the beginning?" I sat there and thought about that very cold night on the couch. I thought about the mean words she said, the secret messages she sent, and how her own sister had to be the one to tell me the truth, because Williams would not. I looked at her and shook my head slowly. "I do not hate you, Williams," I said softly. She looked hopeful for a second, like she thought I would say yes. But then I continued, "But I cannot build a life with someone who is okay with watching me doubt myself and feel crazy every single day." That was the last real talk we ever had as a married couple. My way of moving on from the hurt was not about hurting her back or making her feel small. It was just about walking away and staying a good, kind person. I did not want to become the angry man she thought I would be. Sometimes the best way to handle being hurt is not to get even or get revenge. It is to find your own peace of mind. That couch, which I once thought was a place of being turned away, actually became the place where I found the truth. I was not being kicked out of my marriage that night on the sofa. I was being given a real chance to find a much better and much happier life. If you found this story helpful for your own life, please like and follow along with a group of caring experts for more stories about life and healing. What would you have done if you were in Noah's place? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for more amazing stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.